Happy Outsiders release day, everybody. It's time to rip some packs. Now, in the lead up to this week, we saw a lot of mass box openings, both streamed and reported, and we have enough data now to reasonably know what we can expect to see in our boxes or our cases. And ultimately, it is much lower than in the previous few sets, and it will definitely be harder to get our playsets. So let's look at the numbers and discuss. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, Flesh and Blood folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again, a fabulous cast for a release day video. That's right, pretty exciting. We're going to get some packs in my grubby paws here in a little bit, and we'll be doing, well, more than a little bit this afternoon, and then we'll be doing some unboxings this weekend. But that's right, today we're talking about the pull rates for Outsiders, what we've seen, and why it is below what we expected. And I don't usually do videos like this, but I typically, and not typically, I have done the how much should we buy type videos, specifically for Outsiders, and my recommendation out of that was a case, and actually it still is, right? I think that the case is, I mean, we all know that buying singles is more economical. It's looking like that will continue, if not more so, be the case for this. But just to remind you what I had recommended in terms of my numbers, I was basing that off of, if I can find the right image here, I was basing that off of an expectation of around 8 Majestics per box, right? And remember, we always do a player-focused type thing here, right? What do you need to get your play sets of cards to build the decks that you want? That's the main focus we have here. And out of that, between the normal M's and the variants and then the foils, we were getting about 8 per box. So it came out to about 12 per playset. Now, the numbers are very, very different for Outsiders. It's on the more in the realm of 6. So let's go ahead and look at the actual math around that. Now, I want to give a huge shout out to Fluke and Box. I would have never known about this particular post, which was mid-max. Shout out to them as well. I would have known about this if I hadn't watched John's stuff. I don't know how you kids monitor all of the different social medias and everything. Feels like staying on top of this stuff is a full-time job. So thanks, John, for making me aware of this. And then thank you to MinMax Games for posting the actual data. They opened 500 boxes and they posted their, significant hit rates. So I took those numbers and then I boiled them down to this, what I'm posting up right now. So what I did is I did this for the player numbers. Now, there will be some people out here who don't like the way I do this, and that's fine. You have the actual numbers there that you can use, right? But what I did for the player numbers was I combined, look, I want 3 versions of a Majestic, and I don't care what 3 versions those are, right? So I summed the Majestics and all the variants thereof Majestics. All variants of the Fable are counted as Fable. All variants of the Legendaries are counted as Legendaries. Then those are the numbers that you see right here across the screen. So the mean per box for Fables is not high, but I mean, it's a Fable. You wouldn't expect that. But the conversation that we were basically having in the previous video that I wanted to update that on is really the change in Majestic. So we're seeing roughly 6.2 Majestics per box, or roughly 24 to 25 per case. And again, that's counting the normal M's plus the foil M's plus anything else, right? And we are seeing roughly 1 foil, give or take. We're seeing roughly 1 foil per box. It's actually slightly less than that in terms of Majestic. 1 foil Majestic per box, slightly less than that. And the apparent, if you get enough look at the numbers, you see my note there, the ratio of M's to foil M's is about 5 to 1, which is, I think, good in both directions, right? So in theory, right, if I were to pull, so I pulled a foil Premeditate in my pre-release, and I was thinking to myself, even before I saw these numbers, I would be happy trading that for 3 copies of Premeditate, right? Just a straight swap with someone. What this is showing is that that would be a bad trade. It would be a negative trade for me. That said, someone's giving you 3 or more copies of that. So I think 5 to 1 is about the right ratio for a player to swap their foil version of an M for 3 copies of that M. I'm not saying that's something you should do. I'm saying that that's to me, that would be a reason. To me, as a person, as a player, that would be a reasonable trade, because I would want to get 3 copies of Premeditate, right? And again, you'll have to see what the prices on TCG Player come out to and stuff, and how it values. Yeah, I'm just saying, in a straight swap situation, I would be willing to do that. And I think the numbers back that up as being somewhat reasonable, right? Because I don't think that in the end you'll see, well, depending on the M, I suppose, but in the end, I don't think that you'll see that the prices of a foil M are necessarily 5x, not for all foils, of course, right? Some of them will be higher, some of them will be higher, but I don't know the 5x. But anyway, so I mean, the numbers are what they are, and you can see them and do your thing, right? But we're very clearly seeing, I watched a lot of Fluke's openings, and he was very consistently getting about 5 to 6 normal M's per box, and then very consistently getting about 1 foil M per box. So that's pretty consistent with this. Now again, he was opening the Japanese printing, and this is based on the Belgium printing, but I mean, it's got to be the same, right? I do have to say, one thing I was not pleased about on pre-release weekend, which so the US and Europe are going to be getting the paper packs, right? The Belgian printing. And one thing I was not super happy about those is there's a lot of packs that don't have 2 rares in them. Now, you get basically for every pack that you only get 1 rare in, there's a pack that has 3 rares in. So it balances out if you're buying a case, but I do think that feels bad for, the people who aren't buying box or case level stuff. I think that feels bad. So that's unfortunate, but what are you going to do about it at this point? But I do think that's unfortunate. So anyway, this is short today. Again, release day video. You're probably not watching it because you're opening packs or watching people open packs, which is completely fair. But I just thought it was good to come back and kind of update really to my previous video that my numbers were very clearly wrong, right? Basing it off of 8 when we live in basing it off of a world of 8 M's when we live in a world of 6 M's. So that changes it. Now, I mentioned that I still think a case is the right, for me, a case is the right amount. That's what I'm going to buy. Looking at these numbers, knowing that I need to buy more doesn't change that. And if anything, I think it actually skews less, right? So this is going to be better probably for the people, not probably, this will be better for people who open a lot of boxes and sell singles, because it'll likely have less like 50 cent, 95 cent M's, and it'll help them out and encourage them to open more boxes, which should make things more available for people, at least in theory. So we'll see how it all plays out, but the numbers look like it's kind of a bummer that it's not going to be as easy to complete our sets. That's for sure. That said, we don't need to complete our sets. We just need to complete our play sets. So hopefully if it's more advantageous for people to open, there will be more of that out there and we can do it. So anyway, let's see how things flush out, and we'll see where all the prices land and everything next week. Either way, it's going to be fun to get new stuff in hand and do a whole bunch of draft this weekend, and looking forward to it. So anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. Again, good luck with your polls this weekend. If nothing else, go Commando.